Srimati Amisha Joshi will talk about emotional fitness. என்னை பற்றி ஏற்கனவே அறிமுகம் பண்ணியிருந்தாலும் என்னை பற்றி சிறிது நான் கொஞ்சம் மேலும் கொஞ்சம் சொல்ல விரும்புகிறேன். என்னுடைய 16வது வயதில் நான் லண்டனுக்கு வந்தேன். நான் பொம்பை என்னுடைய பின்னணி. என்னுடைய இளமை காலத்தில் என்னுடைய தகப்பனாரை நான் இழந்து விட்டேன். அது எனக்கு பெரிய மனதளவில் பெரிய பாதிப்பை உண்டாக்கி இருந்தது. அது மட்டும் இல்லாமல் நான் வேலை பார்த்த பணிச்சுமை, இந்த பணிச்சுமைகள் எல்லாம் என்னை பல்வேறு மன அழுத்தத்தை கொடுத்தது. இதன் காரணமாக நான் வாழ்க்கையில ஒரு மகிழ்ச்சியான தருணங்களை அனுபவிக்க முடியாமல் தவித்துக் கொண்டிருந்தேன். அப்பொழுது பல்வேறு ஆர்ட் ஆஃப் லிவிங் அல்லது யோகா இப்படி என்று பல நுட்பமான வழிமுறைகளை நான் மேற்கொண்டிருந்தாலும் அவற்றிலெல்லாம் நான் திருப்தி அடைய, என்னுடைய மன நிம்மதியை அடைய முடியவில்லை. இருப்பினும் நான் பல்வேறு வழிகளை மேற்கொண்டிருந்தாலும் இறுதியாக ஒரு விஞ்ஞான ரீதியாக விஞ்ஞான அணுகுமுறை மூலமாக அணுக முடியும் என்பதனை இந்த NLP என்ற இந்த ப்ரோக்ராம், அதாவது நியூரோ லிங்குவிஸ்டிக் ப்ரோக்ராமிங் என்ற இந்த வழிமுறையில் இணைந்த பிறகு என்னிடம் பெரிய மாற்றத்தை என்னால் உணர முடிகின்றது.
Our guest speaker Amisha Joshi Bharadwaj will deliver a talk on the topic emotional fitness. Vanakkam, Namaste, greetings to all. I would like to inform you that every day we are doing meditation for world peace and harmony at 9 a.m., 11 a.m. and 8 p.m. UK time. I would also like to mention that we can be proud that we have achieved 658 days of daily meditation 3 times a day, for which we are grateful to all those who contributed to this achievement. Today, first there will be a meditation by Saro Sundarlingam Master from Sydney, Australia, with calming music. After that, there will be Thanksgiving to the universe. Our guest speaker, Amisha Joshi Bharadwaj, will deliver a talk on the topic emotional fitness. There will be a summary of speech in Tamil by Maran Nandan Sidambaram Master from Sydney, Australia. Thereafter, question and answer and discussion session will take place in English and Tamil. You can ask questions and comments in Tamil as well. Translation will be available. Now, invite Saroja Devi Sundarlingam Master will conduct the meditation. Thank you very much indeed.
Greetings to all who have joined today to meditate for world peace and harmony. Meditation is a pathway to spiritual wisdom. The meditation we conduct in this forum is very simple and rewarding. It is a simple practice of focusing on our normal, natural breathing, the inner breath and the outer breath. When we focus on our inner breath and outer breath, we will be able to expel unnecessary thoughts crossing our mind. The mind becomes calm and quiet. In this background, please be seated comfortably in a quiet place. Sit straight and be relaxed. Gently close your eyes Clasp both your hands like this and place them on your lap. Cross your feet and close your eyes gently. When we meditate in this posture, we will be able to absorb a vast amount of cosmic energy, which will be preserved in our body. There will be a calming, melodious music provided for meditation. Along with this calming, melodious music, let us meditate today for 30 minutes. Thank you. Masters, please come back to a normal awareness. Take your hands and place your fingers gently on your eyes for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now take your hands from your eyes and open your eyes. Let us all put our hands together in happiness for having completed a successful joint meditation today. Thank you. We thank everyone who participated in meditation today, seeking the blessings of the cosmic power. When we meditate, the blessings of the cosmic power spreads peace and tranquility across all nations around the world, promoting peace, harmony, and well-being to everyone around the world. We are very grateful and thankful to PSSM Europe, PMC Tamil, and PMC India for providing this meditation forum for daily meditation 3 times a day to promote world peace and harmony and to spread spiritual wisdom around the world. We also thank Mr. and Mrs. Srikandarajah, who are the coordinating masters of this forum, for their untiring efforts to make this forum a great success. Thank you. Now I hand over the forum to Mr. Srikandarajah, Master. Thank you.
Welcome, Amisha. Thank you very much. Now, Maran Nandan Sidamram from Sydney, Australia, will introduce Amisha Joshi Bharatwaj. Thank you very much.
Good morning to all masters who has joined this meditation session this morning, and special good morning to the initiators of this meditation group, Master Srikandarajah and Arundhati Master. I have a great pleasure in inviting our guest speaker today, Srimati Amisha Joshi Bharatwaj. Srimati Amisha Joshi Bharatwaj is a well-known neuro-linguistic programming speaker, which is shortly known as NLP Master Trainer. We also take this opportunity to thank Rashmi Mishra, who introduced Amisha Joshi Bharatwaj to this session. We, on behalf of the World Peace and Harmony Meditation, take this opportunity to extend our greatest thanks to Amisha Joshi Bharatwaj for consenting to take in today's meditation session, which is going on the 16th and 15th day. Srimati Amisha Joshi will talk about emotional fitness. As we all know, all this while the world was so obsessed with physical fitness. So the concept of emotional fitness is equally important, or in other words, it should be balanced together with a physical fitness. So I have a great pleasure in inviting Amisha Joshi, who is going to talk on the topic of from sinning to winning. So the concept of sinning, which we all have understood, is to be conventionally, we have understood sinning is something related to religion or God. But Amisha has a different version. So what she's going to say about this emotional fitness, especially on the topic of from sinning to winning. With that introduction, I have a great pleasure in inviting Amisha Joshi. The forum is on you, and we are honored to welcome you, Amisha Joshi.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Maran, for the wonderful introduction. And most importantly, thank you to Mr. Srikandarajah for inviting me here, and of course to Rashmi Mishra ji for having me as part of the Inspiring Indian Women Forum. Very delighted to meet everybody. I know we won't get a chance to have a personal introduction, but as Mr. Maran has very nicely introduced me, my name is Amisha. Joshi is my maiden name and Bharadwaj is my married name. I am a Bombay girl. That's how I like to always call myself, because I was born and brought up in Bombay and majority of my life was over there. I moved to London about 16 years ago, and after I got married, and I have my family and my life here now. But before I jump into the topic, is it okay if I could share a little more about myself, if it's all right with everybody? Yeah, thank you. So my career has been in the hotel industry. I've always worked in the hotel industry. I've subsequently built a business in the hotel industry, and I consult hotels. But a lot of things that were happening in my life, despite of seemingly having a very, very successful career for myself, things never felt very nice. I always experienced constant trauma, constant grief, which was connected to losing my father at a very young age. And for years and years, I tried various things. I went through, I did all sorts of courses that I could find just to figure out how I can overcome whatever I was feeling, because I couldn't understand what I was feeling at that time. So I went to Art of Living. I'm assuming everybody has heard of Art of Living and Shri Ravi Shankarji, in the hope that it would help. And for a short while, that program helped me, and I was able to maybe keep my mind off things. Then didn't have any long-lasting results. So then I went into pranic healing. I'm assuming everybody's heard pranic healing, but if you haven't, it's basically an energy healing method, non-touch energy healing method, which basically works on your aura or your outer energy body. Nothing worked. And I was still going through life, because one side career was really booming off, but the other side of my life, when I was not working, I was always miserable. I was always sad. I was always depressed. Okay. And I know it's a very commonly used word now, depressed, but now when I think about what I was experiencing, that's exactly what was happening with me. And at that time, there was no concept of actually seeking out therapy and counselors as much as it is today. So I never really knew what to do. So I went to yoga, meditation, Reiki. I even went to past life regression, and I studied a whole course on it, because I thought I have to find my past life connection with my father, and maybe something I'll figure out what happened and why I lost him at such an early age, etc. But nothing seemed to work. And I carried on like that for almost 30 years, I would say. It was a very, very traumatic experience, because I would keep going through these ups and downs of, whatever I was feeling. And I couldn't figure out what was really going on. I actually thought I had lost my mind. Maybe I need a psychiatrist, or I need to be on medication, and all sorts of funny thoughts. So before I go ahead, has anybody else in this group had those kind of feelings ever? That, you're experiencing something which you don't like, and you're thinking something is really wrong, you know, even though everything else may be fine with you. Physically, everything is fine. Health-wise, everything is great. Feel free to put a chat in the chat box, or, you know, maybe just give me a thumbs up so I know that you're interacting. Anybody else felt any of those kind of things in your life? Because we all come to meditation for a purpose, right? We all want to meditate because we want something out of that. Okay, so how many of us meditate? We feel really nice when we meditate, but afterwards, when we go back to our life, something changes again. How many of us experience that? I won't know if anybody is interacting unless you put a chat in the comments. Okay, just say me, or just say yes or no, or whatever you want to say. Okay, all right. So point being that until and unless I went on to study neuro-linguistic programming, which, as I call it, is the very scientific side of spiritual existence. Okay, it is a scientific way of understanding spiritual knowledge. It has decoded everything that is happening with our mind, our body, our soul, our energy, our connections to the world, connections to people, and so on. And until I studied that and I worked on myself, because NLP allows you to work on yourself without needing the help of somebody else, which is a wonderful tool, it was very hard for me to actually overcome everything. Okay, so which is why I then went on and I started coaching a lot of women who who were experiencing a lot of different issues in their life. And I coach essentially on emotional fitness, right? So I've done several talks at the Global NLP Summit, because neuro-linguistic programming is world over, and there is an international summit that takes place. And the topic that I usually cover is sinning to winning. So how many of us got shocked when you heard sinning? From sinning to winning. How many of us thought like, oh my God, sin is like, you know, doing something very bad or doing a bad deed in your life? That is what sin is. How many of you think like that? Like we're doing something against our God, against our religion. How many thought of sinning in that way? Okay, so sinning, the word sin, even though it's an English word, it originates from a Greek word called sin. Okay, and in the Greek language, sin simply meant to lose or not meet your mark. Okay, and it is used in archery in Greece. So when an archer shoots his arrow and does not hit the target, the word that was used is he has sinned. And over time, that word started becoming associated with our religion, our deeds, our karma. And all it actually means is that we haven't fulfilled, or we haven't met the mark, or we've not done what we have to do in our life. Nothing else. Okay. So I like to work with people to say, okay, what is it that you really want to do in your life? Which means that that's what you want to achieve, but you're not able to do it right now. So not able to meet that, sinning. But when we start doing it, when we start achieving, whether it's for ourselves or whether for our families, whether in our workplace, whatever it is that we want to achieve, then we are winning. Because every single thing that we desire, it's happening. We're able to do it. Okay. So when we talk about this gap, okay, between the sinning to the winning, what is that gap and why is it there? It is there because of our emotions, which are not fit. Okay. The gap exists because we can be fearful. We can be dealing with hurt like I was going through. We can be experiencing sadness. We can be experiencing, guilt. Guilt is very, very common with a lot of people. So a lot of these negative emotions that take place, and they literally make a home in our body, they play up all the time, and then they don't allow us to actually lead a winning life. Does this make sense? Is everybody getting the concept of this?
Yes.
Great. So what happens is we need to work on this gap in our life. We need to work on those emotions first. So we need to overcome the fears. We need to overcome the sadness. We need to overcome the guilt. We need to overcome shame, whatever it could be. And all of these emotions, let me tell you, we were never born with them, right? When you see a newborn baby, can you imagine that this newborn baby is experiencing fear, or it's experiencing guilt, or it's experiencing, some kind of sadness or depression? No, right? We are not born with those things. Those emotions start accumulating in our body through our various life experiences, right? So in my example, because I went through the grief of losing my father at a very young age, those emotions had taken place in my body. They had settled in my mind, my heart, and everything. Not saying that everywhere I was going, I was grieving, but the fact is those emotions were not allowing me to be my best, be my fullest, be the best mother I wanted to be the best wife, right? And in a lot of ways, our relationships suffer because of that. So until and unless we do not address those emotions, until and unless we don't process them, we keep missing our mark. We keep sinning. We don't win. Okay? And when I say we are sinning, again, we're not saying anything against our religion or our God. We are saying the karma that we want to fulfill in our life, we are not able to do that. Okay? So how many want to know now what exactly is this emotional fitness that I talk about? So as Mr. Maran said, we all focus on physical fitness, right? But we don't know what is emotional fitness. We all seem to work out. We all seem to eat healthy. We meditate, of course, for our minds, etc. But we don't know what is our emotional fitness because we ignore it. We assume that this is how it is. When we interact with somebody who is probably angry, we'll say, "Arey, this person is only angry all the time," right? Or we interact with somebody who complains about their situation, "Arey, this one just keeps complaining," right? But so we never actually think about what is the emotional fitness side. So emotional fitness is referring to the well-being of your life, okay? How you feel about your life, how you feel about different aspects of your life. You may say, I'm very happy, I have a very blessed life, right? We are all very grateful for what we have in our life. We're very blessed. But maybe in some aspects of your life, you don't feel very good about it. Could be you want a better career, could be you want a better home, could be whatever, you want a better car, maybe something, right? Emotional fitness also is about how we feel about ourselves, most importantly. What do we think about ourselves as individuals? Do we think about ourselves as, yes, I am a good person, yes, I'm a confident person, yes, I'm a go-getter? How do we think about ourselves? And then how do we look at other people and impact the quality of the relationships with those? If we think about ourselves as, oh, I'm not confident of, doing something in my career, it's unlikely we'll start making the effort towards anything. Or if we feel, oh, I can't make friends with this person because I'm, the shy type of person, it'll affect the quality of relationships, right? This is just an example. So it also refers to your ability to express your emotions. One of the biggest things that people struggle with is expressing their emotions appropriately, right? If something bothers us, we may get angry and shout. Oh, or if something troubles us, we might just withdraw and go away and sit in one corner and not interact with anybody. So it is, how do we express our emotions appropriately? How do we manage those feelings in ourselves? And how do we deal with the different difficulties that life can throw at us? As we know, after the pandemic, that life is unpredictable, right? Anything can happen. So when difficulties arise, how do we deal with them? Are we able to keep clear-minded and focused? Or do we get affected? Or do we get scared? What happens to us? So that is our components of your emotional fitness, okay? It is also a state of mind where we are able to, or we are capable of staying away from negative thoughts. How many of us are able to stay away from negative thoughts? Or do they creep inside sometimes? They creep inside our head and then they keep, it just goes on and on and on. How many of us are capable of it? I'm not, I know. Despite of learning, doing everything, there are times when, some negative thought will come about, right? Maybe if my son is late from school and I see he's not come back on time, mother's mind will be, oh God, has something happened, right? Negative thought. So how many of us are capable of staying away from it? And how can we focus on progressive action? What is progressive action? Is that action towards the winning. Not just any old thing, but specific action towards the winning. And how can we resolve our challenges without difficulty, right? So if you think about it, emotional fitness is so many different things. It's also how we think about ourselves, how we deal with problems, how can we stay away from negative thoughts, how can we keep progressing, so many different things in one. So can you imagine humanly, as a human being, is it actually possible to do all of these things in one go? No. There is a sequence. We have to work on this in a specific manner, in a specific order for us to have that progress. Okay. So why is it necessary? Why do you think now I've explained what it is? Why do you think it is necessary for ourselves to be emotionally fit?
To be balanced in the life.
Yes. Balanced in the life. What else? What is our life balance?
There will be many emotions keep coming, but all situations we should be at a standard of perception, not carried away with the individual emotion.
Yeah. What else? That is our balance of life. But what else? What is the balance? What does our life balance comprise? Comprises our physical health, comprises our well-being, financial health, family. Are we good parents? Are we good children to our parents? Whatever, right? So many different aspects. And there will always be that one place where you're excelling and one place where you're not. Right? And that's where the imbalance starts coming in. So the necessity, like you rightfully said, Mr. Sri Nagesh, it is that to have the balance. But most importantly, people who are emotionally fit, they are able to cultivate great relationships. And let's face it, we are human beings and we are social people and we thrive based on our relationships. If you walk into a room and you find that, oh, these people are not talking to me, nobody has welcomed me, it's not acceptable, right? When we walk into a room and we meet people or we see people, we want to talk to them, we want to engage. So quality of relationships. Emotionally fit people are very good with their relationships. They're able to deal with their challenges without getting carried away with the negative thought. They are able to find solutions, think on their feet. Okay. Now, again, none of these people were born with these capabilities. Okay. They all had to cultivate it. Now, let me also tell you two secrets. Okay. All of the emotions that we experience in our life, the roots or the seeds have already taken place between the age of 0 to 7. Okay. So when you were born, you were only born with hunger and needing to sleep and nothing else, right? As a baby, it was only, I need to be fed and I need to sleep. That's it. But as we grow through life, we experience different emotions and they start getting recorded up here. The brain starts recording all of these experiences and we start only living based on what is recorded here. Okay, so that becomes the foundation. As I call it, the emotional fitness foundation has happened between the age of 0 to 7 in our lives. Now, obviously, you would not have known that. Right? If you were, when you were younger, somebody stole something from your school bag or you had a fight in the park with somebody else as a child, you may have been carrying all these emotions without even realizing it. Because for a child, they were important. As a grown-up, they were not. Okay. So until and unless we are identifying what are these foundations in ourselves, it becomes hard to deal with it in life. If you had a happy childhood, most likely you will have happy life. But in your childhood, you may have experienced some kind of conditioning, some kind of, I won't say bondedness, but more like restrictions, right? Could be a social restriction, could be educational restriction, could be something with family, could be tradition, so many different conditionings that we have. And then those are the emotions we start carrying all throughout our life. And that stops us from moving from the sinning to the winning. Yeah. And you might have a question that, okay, if this happened when I was, young, I don't even remember it. So what is the solution? And yes, there is a solution. When we work with specific methodology that now science is giving us, or neuroscience is giving us, we are able to start working with those individual experiences that have been recorded in our brain and start changing them for the better. We cannot change what happened, but we can change how our brain has programmed it. Yeah. And that is where the solutions lie. So once we reprogram, then we can go forward and start winning. Is any of this making sense?
Absolutely, yes.
Good. Would you like to have an experience of it? And I've spoken a lot. Would you like to have a little experience of it? So this is my NLP way of meditating. Would you like to have a little try? It will not take too long.
Sure.
Yes, everybody in? Okay. All right. So what I'd like you to do now is just for a very short while, I would like you to think about something that might be troubling you in your life. It might not necessarily a big thing. It could be something that is irritating or something that is, playing on the mind. And of course, we practice our meditation regularly so that it doesn't stay in the mind. But maybe there is something there. So in my case, the example is that I work in my career in the hotel environment and I consult a lot of hotels. And sometimes when I find that, they don't behave very well with the staff, it's something that bothers me a lot. It makes me very anxious and angry. So think about it. You don't have to share what it is. It's personal to you, but I want you to just think about it. Take a moment. if you're done thinking about it, close your eyes and notice where in your body are you experiencing those feelings. Like I said, when I see hotel people treated badly, I get very, I get my head starts sort of hurting, my chest will start, I feel very anxious and angry about it. Where do you feel those emotions in your body? We all experience it differently, okay? So I want you to just notice it now. If you want to share, please share. Everybody picking up any kind of feelings in your body when you think about something that troubles you?
Can I explain something?
Yes, please.
But since we started doing this meditation, whenever we close our eyes, we started observing our normal natural breath. So I didn't feel anything, even though I had some feeling to imagine. But as soon as I start closing my eyes, I started observing my breath. So I didn't feel anywhere in my body that is affecting me. So
Okay.
That's what my answer.
That is really good. That is really good. Anybody else?
As you said, you wanted us to think of a particular situation which is troubling. So these are very common in our life. So when I thought of it, then I'm aware that awareness is there, which is in my forehead, maybe the Ajna chakra sort of thing. I'm aware that it is there, but it is not actually creating any impulse in the body.
Okay, that's really good. But if it's there in your, are you saying it's affecting somewhere here?
Awareness, not affecting, it's awareness.
Okay, interesting. Anybody else? Yes. Mithili, is it? Mithili? Yes,
hi.
yes, please carry.
Yes,
Hi.
Actually, I thought of something, and immediately, like Mr. Nagesh said, because because we are meditating, we're aware of it, and then it just goes away. In other words, it doesn't stay long enough for me to notice it now.
That is really good. That is really,
because,
really good.
I was actually trying to think of that problem, and then I didn't, and then somehow my mind became okay about it. In other words, I was observing it, and then I didn't feel anything physically, actually.
Yeah, that is brilliant. Awesome. Okay. So let's reverse this now, because we've obviously been through a nice meditation session and everybody's calm. So let's reverse this. Let's think about something that we want to achieve in our life. So let's think about that win now, okay? What do we want to win in? What is it that we want to be or do or have? Let's start thinking about that now, because we've taken care of all the problems.
It varies from person to person. What is the purpose of their life that drives them to, choose their choices? So
yeah. So again, because we are very, very spiritual in nature, when we think about purpose, we think about life purpose. Let's think about one small thing that we want to achieve. Not the life purpose, but let's think about the one small thing that we want, but we've not been able to achieve. We forget the deep, small things that make that big difference.
I understand what you're saying, but when we come to that specific things, then we know it is peppermints rather than looking for big things, and we will spend our time for those small things which are natural for the mind to come across and get attracted to those small milestones, but we miss the targets. So if that awareness is there, then we don't care. Okay, fine, it's fine. If it is on my way, if it is coming, that's fine. Even if it is not coming on my way, still it is fine. But my ultimate purpose, am I on the direction of that purpose or not? That's what I'm more interested in practicing.
Okay. And where do you feel? Are you in the direction or not in the direction?
Absolutely. That's why
Brilliant.
I'm here on this earth.
That's awesome. Okay, so anyone else wants to think about something that they want to achieve, or am I to assume everybody, we're all on the right path, and it's okay if we don't get what we want or don't become who we want, whichever way? I want to find somebody who can give me one answer.
Well, I've thought of something that I really want to achieve.
Go on.
So what question? Sorry, I'm thinking about it.
Yeah. So I said, first we were looking at trying to do away with the negative ones. Now, because everybody's been calm with the meditation, let's think about something that we want to achieve.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Which we obviously haven't achieved yet. Could be something you want to be, could be something you want to have or do, whatever it may be. All right. When you think about that, if you want to share what it is, please share.
Oh, do you want me
to
close
too personal
about it, or sorry?
If it's not too personal, and if you want to share what that goal might be for you or what that objective is, just for me to just get a perspective.
Yes. Well, as a child, I wasn't allowed to ride my bicycle as a girl growing up in India. So I never learned to ride bicycle when I was young. So at the age of 50, I started to learn to ride my bike. And for the past couple of years, I haven't ridden it because I've had some medical conditions and everything like that. So now I want to get back riding my bicycle. So that's something I want to do, hoping I'll be able to do it.
Okay. And what's the reason that you want to do? What's the reason that you want to ride your bike?
Well, it's something that I've always wanted to, and I wasn't allowed to when I was young. So it's always been there. So as I said, at the age of 50, who'd start to learn to ride a bike, which I did, so because I haven't been able to ride it for a couple of years since, my medical operation and things like that. So it somehow feels that I like to ride the bicycle in the open field with the wind rushing through my hair, and I want to feel that. So
you're already in the direction that I want to take you now.
Yeah,
so okay,
but that's what I'm thinking about it. Like I'm visualizing that I'm going to Kenley Aerodrome and then ride my bicycle, the wind blowing in my face, and the hair is just chill, and I've got my scarf on and everything else. So I'm kind of visualizing things like that.
So now when you're visualizing it, what do you feel in the body?
Excitement.
And where do you feel it in your body?
A little bit of butterfly in the stomach.
Yeah. So do you notice that when you have a thought, there is a sensation in the body?
Of course, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the thought will be connected to some kind of an emotion, right? So if you had to define what that feeling is or the emotion is for you, what would it be? Butterflies. What would?
No, it's just excitement, like
excitement.
Yeah, I'm feeling happy. Like I'm visualizing as if I'm riding it. So when I'm riding it, I feel like I'm so happy, and it kind of, you get like freedom. It's I know, I've been driving since the age of 17, but driving a car. But this is something that I feel like you're in the open, out in the, in the environment, and I feel happy.
Yeah. So how would you like to be able to tap into this happiness, so this excitement at any time in your life?
I do that. And also I sometimes, when something goes, when I have something to worry about or think about, and then I imagine myself sitting on my swing in the garden and just swinging away, swinging away is such a nice feeling, isn't it? Like you're going up and down, up and down. That I feel like every now and then I do that. I do this visualization.
Yeah, that's excellent. See, because our minds and our body are very intelligent, right? We already know what direction we want to go in. We already know that we don't want the negative thoughts. We want to, go towards all the excitement. So what I'd like to share with you is there are two sides to everything, right? There is the one side is how do we deal with all the, how do we calm ourselves down through meditation? But then the other side is how do we lift ourselves up through meditation? Okay? Because a lot of times we turn to meditation to calm, to relax, to recover. But nobody actually uses meditation to lift ourselves up. And that's what I'd like to share with you today. So would you like to try that then? Let's go for it.
Yeah.
So let's think about something that, like Maithili, right? Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Yes. So let's think about something that we want or something that makes us very happy. Whatever way, whatever it may be for you. Something that makes us very, very happy. Okay, closing your eyes and tapping into that feeling. Now I want you to imagine whatever it is that you're feeling is not a feeling, but it's an object. So if it's that butterfly in your stomach, like you defined it, in my case, I have that excitement when I receive something, when I receive a gift. And my heart starts getting filled up with a lot of very happy emotions and big feelings when I receive something. So for you, it could be anything else. Okay, and notice where those feelings lie in your body. So we're taking our awareness a little higher, a little deeper than just from the breath. We're now connecting to our whole body. Where are those feelings? Where do you experience them? And notice how your breathing has changed. It might be more excited, more fast-paced, for all you know. This emotion is rising. Now, once you've noticed where it is, I want you to imagine that you can separate that feeling from your body. So if you're feeling it in your heart, you can separate it from your heart. If you're feeling it in your stomach, you can separate it from your stomach physically. And now I want you to imagine that you can not just separate it, but even use your hands to expand it, stretch it out. So take that happy emotion, take it out of your body, hold it in your hands, and stretch it. Stretch it, stretch it, stretch it as far as you can, as wide as your arms can go. Left and right. Now I want you to stretch it upwards and downwards, so vertical. So now you've actually taken that feeling, just stretched it and expanded the whole thing. And now I want you to see yourself sitting in that expanded emotion that you've taken out of your body. Sit down in it. Sit down and experience it all around you. You might see some colors. You might even hear some sounds. You might feel something on your face. You might even see your heart beating differently. You might even hear the heart pounding with all of that excitement. And once you feel that this emotion has become really big and it can't go any bigger, I want you to start coming back to the now. Start coming back to the present moment where we all are right now. And back into the room. Since Maithili, you volunteered very nicely, I want you to tell me, how did that feel for you?
I'm very sorry. Unfortunately, as soon as I close my eyes and I go into almost like a meditative state, and
Yeah.
I'm not able to listen to you and make sense of what you're saying.
That's okay.
So every now and then, you know, I heard you about stretching out, and then I wasn't sure what to stretch out. So I
Okay.
missed it because I went into, I don't know, maybe it didn't work.
That's fine.
It's supposed to be. Maybe I need to concentrate on your voice, but I couldn't.
That's
As soon as I
That's
because normally I don't have any, when I'm meditating, I don't have any music or anything like that. As soon as I close my eyes, I just go. So I'm sorry.
you're one of the lucky ones, I guess.
No, as I said, you know, to fully follow your instructions, I wasn't able
That's
to.
fine.
I missed
No,
quite a few
that's
in the,
fine.
yeah.
That's
Sorry about,
absolutely fine. No,
sorry, I'm a
not
bad.
at all. That's absolutely fine. The idea is, the fundamental is, when we use meditation to watch our breath and to calm ourselves down, we can also use it to lift ourselves up.
Okay.
And in this case, we're not calming the breathing, we're taking the emotion and expanding that good feeling. That is a fundamental of it. So once you understand that fundamental and you'll all practice meditation anyways, you're able to tap into the good stuff as well. Because what I find is that a lot of times when we, like I said, when we start focusing on just calming ourselves and accepting, we may miss out on the wins. And to tap into the winning, we need to tap into those big emotions that we are going to feel when we win. So when you're biking, and that freedom that you feel, and that excitement and that exhilaration and the wind in your face, those are the feelings we want to start tapping into and increase experiencing them so that we can start winning. Now, we're not saying that, oh, you're going to start biking and everything in life is going to be a success. That's not what we're saying. But what we're saying is create those emotions so that you can start becoming successful, because we can only succeed once we are in that happy state, once we are in that exhilarated state. When we're in a calm state, we're calm. We're, you know, it's like, Maithili, if you're in a calm state, it's unlikely you want to go and start biking because you're in a very calm state. Yeah. Because when we're relaxed, we're like, okay, I don't want to do anything now, right?
Okay,
but I want that thrill as well.
All right. So you want to bring yourself to a, you know, exciting states where you want to do something, get up and go. Okay. Okay.
Because that's part of what we are humans, you know, our humanness. That's what it is. So our spiritual side is obviously the one that is calm, the one that is grounded.
You don't want to be grounded.
Deals with things. Sorry?
You don't want to be grounded all the time.
No. We have to connect to the human experience for how many years we're going to be on the earth, right? And that human experience can only come when we've lifted ourselves up and we start winning from that point.
So, Amisha, just I wanted to say here, when you said that you wanted to, you know, engulf yourself into that emotion, even before you said that one, I was in the capsule of that emotion.
I could see it. I was observing you all. I was observing everybody. So I could see that.
So when we are in that capsule of emotion, because you said, you know, separate that emotion away from us, from the body, and expand it, then what will happen when we expand? We will be part of that capsule, that emotional capsule.
Exactly.
So once in that emotional capsule, even before you said, my entire body is, you know, goosebumps. When that emotion comes, it is not just a particular part. Now that emotion actually spread across your body, across your each and every cell of your body. The
Yes.
natural that comes out of as a goosebumps.
Yes.
And not only emotional level, body level, everything, when it is combined, then goosebumps comes. It's not just body cannot operate on its own. It has to receive that emotion from your mind. So when mind is fully engulfed in that, actually full body is goosebumps. That's what I experienced, that particular experiment.
Was that a good feeling? That's the question.
Yeah, that's why it is. No,
Perfect.
when we started with
That's what we
good
want.
feeling, no. Yeah,
That's what we
you
want.
started with good feeling. What you wanted to have, that feeling that we started. So that is the sankalpa that we wanted. So that's the visualization we started, and we wanted to have that. So yeah. That's what I wanted to experience.
Thank you. So I was observing everybody, and I could tell who was actually experiencing those emotions at a heightened level and who wasn't. It shows on our body, right? The moment we're experiencing something really exhilarating, it obviously shows on our face. Our skin color changes. Everything becomes very fresh. So that's when I observed everybody, I could tell. But thank you for participating in that and being so open and honest and sharing it. It really helps. So I just wanted to leave you all with that experience and basic understanding that we need both sides. We need the spiritual grounding, and we also need the humanness of lives that we live, and to be able to constantly elevate our emotions so that we start achieving. But any questions that you all have, I know I've taken a bit longer than I should have, but it's always an interesting topic, so I do get quite involved and passionate. Is there any questions that anybody has that I may answer?
Yeah, I want to ask because you said that emotional fitness. So what do you do? Because as we said, as we are a meditator, we have been meditating for the last 2 years. So we are used to the breath, and we are getting calmness, like, doing the meditation. We are focused everything. So, but in your case, you said that since age of 0 to 7, all the emotions you get in, and that the emotion carries out your whole life. But once you started meditating, I think I don't get that emotions anymore and now. So what is your technique that you are using to get rid of this, these emotions? Because for us, since we started meditating, I think we don't have that type of, I don't know, it's personally for me, I don't have that type of feeling, because once I close my eyes and observe my breath, I don't feel any emotions or anything. I feel happy, and we get so many different feelings. So your technique, you said, I want to know what is your technique that you are using?
Yeah. So I like I said, I use a lot of the neuro-linguistic programming where you're connecting the mind and the body, but using more of a deep level neuroscience methodology. But if I may draw a parallel, like you said, when we meditate, we feel calm. So if I'll just draw a parallel, it's like when we are unwell, when we have a cold, cough, fever, something, viral infection, whatever, we take some medication and then our body feels fine, correct? So that's the same thing I associate with, when we struggle with certain emotions and then we meditate and we are calm, right? But it's like we've recovered in our body using medication, and, cold has gone, viral has gone, everything is fine. But we still need to do something to build our physical fitness, correct? We have to eat healthy, we have to exercise, we have to make sure we are moving, etc. So those are the activities that are going to make the improvements, that are going to make us bigger, better, right? So what tends to happen is we forget to do that with our emotions. We forget to tap into big emotions that give us that big lift. Otherwise, we keep operating on a neutral ground. So until we don't visualize, until we don't associate our emotions to our goals, That is the specificity of it. Because spirituality is the big thing. But the specificity is what is it that I want to achieve? Like Maithili said, I just want to go biking and feel that wind in my, face. And that is enough to get that exhilaration. So we've got to do both sides. So we've got to tap into that exhilaration. So you can visualize, you can do affirmations, you can do journaling. There are so many different methods, but until you bring the emotion up, like how I shared, we'll always keep trying to become calm rather than become more active and agile and fit. Does that make sense? Does that answer your question?
Thank you. Because now the Maran master has to summarize his speech, then we can go for the question and answer. I think.
Yeah,
thank you.
I think there are two more hands. Thank you. Thank you.
After the translation, please, we'll do it. Okay,
Anyway,
Maran master.
Thank you very much. I've got to go because my granddaughter is staying with me, so I've got to go.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you for attending.
We enjoyed your session.
Thank you for attending.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Maran master, you can do that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, master. கேக்குதா நான் பேசுறது?
Yeah, சரியாக.
Okay. Thank you, Amisha Joshi Bharadwaj, for a wonderful speech. And now I have the pleasure of translating the contents of what you have presented shortly. என்னை பற்றி ஏற்கனவே அறிமுகம் பண்ணியிருந்தாலும் என்னை பற்றி சிறிது நான் கொஞ்சம் மேலும் கொஞ்சம் சொல்ல விரும்புகிறேன். என்னுடைய 16வது வயதில் நான் லண்டனுக்கு வந்தேன். நான் பொம்பை என்னுடைய பின்னணி. என்னுடைய இளமை காலத்தில் என்னுடைய தகப்பனாரை நான் இழந்து விட்டேன். அது எனக்கு பெரிய மனதளவில் பெரிய பாதிப்பை உண்டாக்கி இருந்தது. அது மட்டுமில்லாமல் நான் வேலை பார்த்த பணிச்சுமை, இந்த பணிச்சுமைகள் எல்லாம் என்னை பல்வேறு மன அழுத்தத்தை கொடுத்தது. இதன் காரணமாக நான் வாழ்க்கையில ஒரு மகிழ்ச்சியான தருணங்களை அனுபவிக்க முடியாமல் தவித்துக் கொண்டிருந்தேன். அப்பொழுது பல்வேறு ஆர்ட் ஆஃப் லிவிங் அல்லது யோகா இப்படி என்று பல நுட்பமான வழிமுறைகளை நான் மேற்கொண்டிருந்தாலும் அவற்றிலெல்லாம் நான் திருப்தி அடைய, என்னுடைய மன நிம்மதியை அடைய முடியவில்லை. இருப்பினும் நான் பல்வேறு வழிகளை மேற்கொண்டிருந்தாலும் இறுதியாக ஒரு விஞ்ஞான ரீதியாக விஞ்ஞான அணுகுமுறை மூலமாக அணுக முடியும் என்பதனை இந்த NLP என்ற இந்த ப்ரோக்ராம், அதாவது நியூரோ லிங்குஸ்டிக் ப்ரோக்ராமிங் என்ற இந்த வழிமுறையில் இணைந்த பிறகு என்னிடம் பெரிய மாற்றத்தை என்னால் உணர முடிகின்றது. ஆக இந்த சின்னிங் டு வின்னிங், இந்த சின் என்றால் ஏதோ நமது மன குற்ற உணர்வை ஏற்படுத்தக்கூடிய ஒரு உணர்வை நாம் அனுபவிக்கின்றோம். ஆனால் இந்த சின் என்பது கிரேக்க மொழியில் இருந்து வந்தது. இந்த சின் என்பது இந்த குறி சுடும், குறி பார்த்து அம்பு எய்வது என்று சொல்கின்றோம் இல்லைவா? அப்பொழுது அந்த குறி சரியாக அந்த அம்போ அல்லது அந்த குறியில் போய் அடைய முடியாமல் விட்டால் அப்பொழுது சின் என்ற வார்த்தை வருகிறது. ஆக நம்மளுடைய இலக்கை அடையாத ஒரு சூழல் இருக்கின்ற பொழுது அந்த சின் என்ற வார்த்தை இன்று மருகி ஏதோ மனதளவில் நாம் ஒரு குற்ற உணர்வாகவும் அல்லது சமய ரீதியில் ஒரு குற்றத்தை புரிந்து விட்டவர்களாக நாம் அர்த்தம் கற்பித்துக் கொள்கின்றோம். ஆனால் உண்மையில் அது உண்மை அல்ல. ஆக இந்த உணர்வை நாம் எப்படி எதிர்கொள்வது என்பதனைத்தான் அடுத்து என்னுடைய உரையில் நாம் காணப்போகின்றோம். சிறிய குழந்தை பிறகின்ற பொழுது அதற்கு எந்த விதமான பயமோ அல்லது குற்ற உணர்வோ இருப்பதில்லை. ஆக குழந்தையிடம் இருக்கின்ற அந்த பண்பு, அதாவது பயமோ குற்ற உணர்வோ இல்லாத சின் என்று சொல்லுகின்ற இந்த குற்ற உணர்வு இல்லாத போது எப்படி நம்மிடம் வந்துவிட்டது. ஆக நாம் வளர வளர நம்மளுடைய வாழ்க்கை அனுபவம் நமக்கு இந்த இடைவெளியில் இந்த குற்ற உணர்வை ஏற்படுத்தி விடுகிறது. ஆக என்னுடைய அனுபவத்தில் ஒரு தாயாராக, ஒரு மனைவியாக இந்த NLP என்ற இந்த ப்ரோக்ராம் நான் இணைகின்ற வரை இந்த உணர்வு என்னிடம் இருந்தது. ஆக நாம் எல்லோருமே இந்த சின் என்ற கூடிய இந்த மன நிம்மதியின்மையை அனுபவிக்கின்றோம். ஆக இதனை நாம் எப்படி எதிர்கொள்வது? ஆக அதனை நான் சில ஸ்லைட் என்று சொல்லக்கூடிய வழியில் நான் உங்களுக்கு காட்டுகின்றேன். உங்கள் வாழ்க்கை எப்படி நீங்கள் உணர்கிறீர்கள் என்பது மிகவும் முக்கியம். சில தருணங்களில் நாம் நன்றாக உணர்வது இல்லை. நம்மளுடைய பணியிடங்களில் நாம் நன்றாக உணர்வதில்லை. நம்மை நாம் எப்படி உணர்கிறோம் என்பது முக்கியமான ஒரு காரணம். அதனை நாம் நல்ல மகிழ்ச்சியாகவும் நம்பிக்கையோடும் எப்படி எதிர்கொள்வது, மற்றவர்களை நாம் எப்படி எதிர்பார்க்கிறோம், எப்படி பார்க்கிறோம் என்பது மிகவும் முக்கியம். நண்பராக பழக முடிவதில்லை. ஒரு அறைக்குள் போனால் நம்மை வரவேற்காமல் போனால் நாம் மிகவும் மனதளவில் பாதிக்கப்படுகின்றோம். அதனை தனிமையாக உணர்கின்றோம். இதனையெல்லாம் நாம் எப்படி உணர்வது? குறிப்பாக இந்த பேண்டமிக் காலத்திற்கு பிறகு நாம் மிகுந்த மன அழுத்தத்தில் ஆழ்ந்து விட்டோம். ஆக இந்த குற்ற உணர்வை அல்லது இந்த எதிர்மறையான எண்ணத்திலிருந்து நாம் எப்படி விடுபடுவது என்பதனை நாம் பழக வேண்டும். ஆக அதனை நாம் குழந்தையாக இருந்து மெல்ல மெல்ல தொடர்ந்து கடந்து வருகின்ற பொழுது நாம் பழக வேண்டும். மனிதனாக இதனை எப்படி நாம் எதிர்கொள்ள முடியுமா என்பதனை ஒரு புதிய அணுகுமுறையில் நாம் செய்ய வேண்டும். ஆக எதற்காக இந்த இமோஷனல் பேலன்ஸ், அதாவது உணர்வை நாம் எப்படி நம்மளுடைய கட்டுப்பாட்டில் வைத்துக் கொள்ள முடியும் என்பது முக்கியம். ஆக நம்மளுடைய அதை அடைந்தால் நம்மளுடைய குடும்பம், நம்மளுடைய பொருளாதாரம் இவற்றையெல்லாம் நாம் ஒரு கொண்டு வர முடியும். ஒரு பக்கம் நன்றாக இன்னொரு பக்கம் நன்றாக இல்லை என்ற நிலையை நாம் மாற்றுவதற்கு நாம் 3 தகுதிகளை நாம் வளர்த்துக் கொள்ள வேண்டும். இயற்கையாகவே வருவதில்லை. ஆக இந்த உணர்வுகள் எல்லாம், இந்த மகிழ்ச்சியான தருணம் என்பது இயற்கையாக வருவதில்லை. இதை நாம் வளர்த்து கொள்ள முடியும். ஆக ஒரு 7 வயதிலிருந்து, நம்மளுடைய பிறந்ததிலிருந்து 7 வயதிற்குள் பலவிதமான நமக்கு பசியும் உறக்கமும் தான் தெரியும். ஆனால் நாம் வளர வளர பல உணர்வுகள் நம்முள்ளே கட்டுமானப்படுகிறது. அதன் பிறகு அதுவே நம்மளுடைய அன்றாட வாழ்க்கையில் நம்மளை கட்டுப்படுத்துகிறது. ஆக இந்த எதிர்மறையான எண்ணங்கள் எப்படி நாம் எதிர்கொள்வது, இதனை கண்டுபிடிக்க வேண்டும். இதற்காக என்னென்ன தடையாக இருக்கிறது, நம்மளுடைய படிப்பிலேயோ அன்றாட வாழ்க்கையிலேயோ பணியிலேயோ எது நமக்கு தடையாக இருக்கிறது என்று கண்டுபிடித்து விட்டால் நாம் மகிழ்ச்சியாக இருக்க முடியும். ஆக அதற்கு என்ன வழி என்றால், இந்த NLP என்ற விஞ்ஞான அணுகுமுறை மூலமாக அதனை நாம் மாற்ற முடியும். brain has program, அதாவது நம்மளுடைய மூளையில நாம் ரீப்ரோக்ராம் பண்ண முடியுமா, அதை மறுபடியும் மாற்ற முடியுமா, நமது மனதளவில் தங்கிவிட்ட இந்த உணர்வை நாம் வெளிப்படுத்தி நாம் மறுபடியும் அதை நன்றாக வளர்க்க முடியுமா? முடியும். நாம் நாம் கைகோர்த்து இதனை செய்து பார்ப்போம். எது உங்களை தடுக்கிறது என்பதனை நீங்கள் முதலில் உணர வேண்டும். எடுத்துக்காட்டாக, நான் ஒரு ஹோட்டல் பணியில் செய்கின்ற பொழுது அங்கே இருக்கின்ற பணிச்சுமை என்னை தடுத்தது. ஆக ஒரு நிமிடம் சிந்தித்து பாருங்கள், எது உங்களை தடுக்கிறது? உங்களுக்கு எந்த அனுபவம் உங்களுக்கு பணிச்சுமையை அல்லது உங்களுக்கு மன அழுத்தத்தை தருகிறது என்பதனை நீங்கள் உற்று நோக்குங்கள். அதனை உற்று நோக்குகின்ற பொழுது உங்களுக்கு இயற்கையாகவே ஒரு முடிவு வரும். எப்படி வெற்றியை, இந்த இலக்கை நாம் அடைவது, அதனை பற்றி இப்பொழுது சிந்திப்போம். ஆக சிறு சிறு காரியங்களில் சிறு சிறு வெற்றிகளை நாம் கொண்டாடுவோம். முதலில் சிறு சிறு இலக்குகளை அடைய வேண்டும். அந்த உதாரணத்திற்கு நம்மளுடைய இந்த இதில் மைதிலி, ஸ்ரீ அவர்கள் மற்றும் அருந்ததி அவர்கள் தங்களுடைய அனுபவங்களை பகிர்ந்து கொண்டார்கள். என்ன காரணத்தினால் நாம் இந்த சிறு சிறு வெற்றிகளை கொண்டாட வேண்டும்? அப்படி செய்கின்ற பொழுது நமது மனதிற்குள்ளேயே ஒரு சிறு சிறு இன்பங்கள் வரும். ஆக எண்ணம் மற்றும் நம்மளுடைய இந்த எண்ணம் என்பது நம்மளுடைய உடலில் ஒரு மாற்றத்தை கொண்டு வருகிறது. அடுத்து, உடலில் எந்த பகுதியில் இந்த மாற்றம் ஏற்படுகிறது என்பதனை நாம் சற்று சிந்திப்போம். ஆக அது நம்மளுடைய இருதயத்தில் இருக்கிறதா, நம்மளுடைய வயிற்று பகுதியில் இருக்கிறதா என்று நாம் யோசித்து பார்த்தோம் என்றால் அதனை நம் உடல் முழுக்க நாம் அதை பரவ செய்ய முடியும். அதனை உங்களுடைய கைகளில் கொண்டு வாருங்கள். அந்த இன்பமான உணர்வை உங்கள் கையில் வைத்துக் கொள்ளுங்கள். உங்கள் கையில் வைத்துக்கொண்டு அதை உற்று நோக்குங்கள். அப்படி உற்று நோக்கின்ற பொழுது உங்களுக்கு ஒரு பரவசமான ஒரு நிலையை நீங்கள் அடைய முடியும், மகிழ்ச்சியாக நீங்கள் உணர்வீர்கள். ஆக இதன் மூலமாக நீங்கள் உங்களுடைய உடல் ரீதியில் ஒரு மாற்றத்தை நீங்கள் அனுபவிக்க முடியும். உங்களுடைய ஒரு அருமையான இசையை நீங்கள் அனுபவிப்பீர்கள். முகத்தில் மலர்ச்சியை நீங்கள் அனுபவிக்க முடியும். உங்கள் இருதயத்தின் துடிப்பை நீங்கள் உணர முடியும். உங்களின் அந்த உணர்வு முழுமையாக உங்களை ஆட்கொள்வதனை நீங்கள் அனுபவிப்பீர்கள். அதிலிருந்து மெல்ல மெல்ல உங்களுடைய அறைக்கு வந்தீர்கள் என்றால் உங்களிடம் ஒரு பெரிய மகிழ்ச்சியான ஒரு இன்பமாக நீங்கள் உணர்வீர்கள். ஆக இந்த இன்ப உணர்வை, இன்ப அதிர்ச்சியை, இதை உங்களை ஆட்கொண்டால் நீங்கள் ஒரு வெற்றிகரமாக உங்கள் வாழ்க்கையை தொடர்ந்து செயல்படுத்த முடியும். ஆக நமக்கு 2 பக்கமும் வேண்டும், நம்மளுடைய உணர்வும் நம்மளுடைய உடலும். இது 2ஐயும் சரிசமமாக நாம் வளர்த்து கொண்டால் நாம் நிச்சயமாக வெற்றி அடைய முடியும் என்று கூறிக்கொள்ள விரும்புகின்றேன். இந்த வாய்ப்பு தந்ததற்காக நன்றியை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கின்றேன். நன்றி.
Thank you very much, Amisha, and also thank you very much for your wonderful translation, Maranandan Master. Thank you. Now I invite Kanagasabha Kuganesan from Chim, England. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks for delivering a very wonderful speech. Because of the lack of time, I want to clarify a couple of things very quickly. The first thing I was wondering, you were talking about the age range of 0 to 7. Some people and some saints argue that sometimes a baby's emotions can be influenced by the mom before even the baby is born.
Yes.
Do you think that's the right statement?
If we look at it scientifically and how the body works, yes, because every cell in the body carries the emotional energy. Our neurons that activate in our brain are carrying signals and messages to the rest of the body. All of these neurons have an electromagnetic energy, right? So that same energy passes to our various cells. Now, when a woman is expecting a baby and she's experiencing certain emotions, those emotions are carrying in all of her cells in her body, and that energy will automatically get transferred to the baby by default. So a lot of times, if you see where a child may be experiencing certain things, it could very well be that they've already absorbed those different emotions from the mother. And it's it's been proven scientifically as well now. I mean, spiritually, we've always known it in our culture. We've always said that when a woman is expecting a baby, she should be happy. She should be looking at happy things because of the fact that, these emotions transfer to the child. So yes, good question.
Yeah. And the second one quickly, because too many people are waiting. When we say physical fitness and the emotional fitness should go hand in hand, both are intertwined. That statement, is it right?
Yes, they are intertwined, because when we're physically fit, of course, we will generally feel happier. But if we're physically not fit and we're experiencing health issues, it's going to affect our emotions, of course. And vice versa. If we're experiencing challenging times in our life, it is going to affect our health in one way or another. So yes.
Thank you very much.
And they are interrelated. So it's not about, we can't work on them in a sequence. We have to work on them simultaneously. But thank you for asking. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much. Next is Mr. Sachi from Swansea, Wales. Thank you.
Amisha Joshi, just a quick question. Can you recommend a textbook, please?
A textbook? Do you want a book on neuro-linguistic programming?
Yeah.
Yes. So the one I recommend is by an author called Sue Knight. She is an English author.
K-N-I-G-H-T?
K-N-I-G-H-T, that's correct. Sue, S-U-E, and K-N-I-G-H-T. She started in the IT industry and then ended up becoming a world-class neuro-linguistic programming trainer. and I've studied under her. So her books very nicely connect the spiritual purpose of our life along with NLP. So I like to follow her books more than anybody else's.
Okay, what is the name of the book, please?
It's called NLP at Work.
NLP.
NLP at Work. Okay. And your
I can
first
put it
name
in
is
the
Sue.
chat.
S-U-E.
Sue, S-U-E, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I will
Amisha.
put it in
Thank
the
you.
chat over here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Next is Dr.Satha Mana from Enfield, England. Thank you.
Greetings to all. Thanks very much, Amisha, for giving this excellent presentation on an interesting topic, emotional fitness, which is not only interesting, it's a difficult one for all to absorb and understand, surely. And my background is psychology and psychiatry and everything, but I'm just trying to figure it out. It was interesting that you really shared your own experience. That was great to share. That will help other people to understand much more when you are sharing, anyone sharing their own emotional difficulties you had and all these things. And I know you were saying you lost your father when you were young, and a lot of people, grief and all these things are difficult situations as well, that understandably so. Then I'm trying to, I don't want to go through all in detail, but 0 to 7 years, you were talking about emotional fitness foundation. My little question is, what about the remaining years? When you say 0 to 7?
So the foundations happen, it's like the roots, right, of the tree are sort of taking shape in, or entrenching in that 0 to 7 age. And then, when the roots are entrenched, that's how the tree grows, right? So if the roots are weak, then the tree will be weak. It's something like that. So whatever we experience in that early stage of our life is how our brain starts recording things and programming things. So because you're already in the field of psychology and psychiatry, I would just use this example that our brain is like a computer, right? When we buy a new computer, it's like all of the hardware is there. That's how our body and brain is. When we are born, it's the hardware of the physical body. When we start typing things into our computer, whether we're using Zoom or whether we're using Google Meet or whether we're using, any other program, the computer is only going to perform that function based on the program that is being used. Exactly like that with our brain. So in the childhood years, whatever we have experienced starts getting lodged into our memory. And then that's how the brain program keeps running. And that's how it keeps repeating, because I'm sure in psychiatry and psychology, you've seen that a lot of times people go through repeating patterns in their life, right? In terms of behavior, because that's what's happening. It's on autopilot.
Is that the term they are using as foundation, the term, because of that it's restricting to 0 to 7? Or
it's like saying that if you've experienced certain strong emotions in that young age, whatever the cause may be, it could be the silliest of things from an adult's perspective. But for the child, that emotion was strong and the memory has got created because of that emotion. Right?
Yeah. I have seen many times women come with anxiety presenting at later stage. And you did rightly say that, they want to be a good mother, good wife, and etc., etc. Because of the unfortunate experience they had in the past, they don't lead a normal life, and they come to this group, and we have women psychotherapy sessions, and then they start opening up and start saying their story, what actually happened for them. That I do know about all those aspects, because I have seen several patients going through, because I work with women especially, ran these groups. Very interesting though, but very sad as well at the same time, their own experience and how their life altered, and really they couldn't lead a normal life until they came for the session, started. And one lady out of the 12 we had in the group, she was the last one, burst into cry one day, and last one to open up to say exactly what happened. So the groups really helped them to share. But many a time people physical illness, they will talk about it. But if it is something to do with our emotion, people bottle it up and they don't open it. That's one of the difficulty. And they suffer in silence and continue to do so. Anyway, thank you very much for the excellent presentation.
Thank you. I just want to share one point on that since you mentioned it. It's not always a traumatic experience, right? I mean, it's not necessarily traumatic from the point of an adult or the way we associate with big emotions like anxiety. It could be something like traumatic for the child. For example, I've had a client who suffered a phobia of bananas. Can you imagine? Like a lot of people experience phobias in their life, and she had a strong phobia of bananas. And the reason why she came to me is because she was suffering with obesity, health issues. And from a nutrition perspective, her doctor had asked her to start consuming bananas. And she couldn't because she had a phobia, like a proper strong phobia. And when we went back and to address surely the roots of that was in the 0 to 7, that she must have been very, very young, doesn't even have a conscious memory, must have eaten a banana and had vomiting for whatever reason, or must have associated that the banana has created vomiting. So she developed a phobia. Now she's not gone through some massive issue in her life, but the fact is it was not allowing her to, live normally. Like bananas are normal fruits, everybody eats them, right? So it varies, it's very individual, but thank you for asking and I appreciate you sharing.
It's okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Gnanaji, Yogarajji, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, next is Dr. Nalaraja Jagannathan from Ilford, East London. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. It's a very inspiring topic, and thanks to Amisha Joshi for her presentation and opportunity to interact with the participants. Just a point that, fitness as a physical thing, as a sense, is not only power to move anything, it is also to resist such activity, isn't it? So emotional fitness is also a resisting the emotional outburst, in other words, or sometimes there is a word called resilience as well. Resilience is bouncing back. My sort of take here is that thoughts and emotions are very much associated. I don't want to go into the neurochemistry and neuroanatomy into that, but I've heard experts saying about separate the thought and emotion, or dissociate them, or not identifying with the thought, identifying it to person. But they are not easy to practice, really. Now, recently, I came across this. I don't know whether you have come across as well. It was said by another philosopher that thought is different from thinking. Now, I got a bit confused at the beginning. Then only I thought, no, thought is a noun and thinking is a verb. So my conclusion here was the thoughts precipitate emotions, isn't it? Hearing about a loss means that data, that hearing about the loss of beloved or someone. And then that's tend to get buried into as memory, but the thought, if starts ruminating, that's thinking. That is where, we need to tackle the problem. But difficulty is, there are personalities. Some people are by nature obsessional. They do ruminate. So I am one of them. So what I'm saying is, so it depends on the personality as well. There are other people who don't mind. They don't ruminate. So, but the pattern of thinking from a negative to positive is, we all know that. So in other words, that's one technique. So I think whether it's how do we handle the thinking, either as a resistance or resilience. The emotional fitness is something that we need to train ourselves. Whatever practice we follow, I'm sure linguistic practice is well proven or well popular. I have not studied it much about it, but I use my own methodology or whatever. So as I said, thoughts and emotions, I don't think you can separate them, because without thought, how do you get emotion? So there you are. So in other words, even though it's a simple distinction, noun and verb, actually it has a profound impact, really, isn't it? because
It
his
does.
thoughts let them come. That's what this famous man called Eckhart Tolle. He's the one who mentioned about, dissociating as well. I think he was also touching on that. Thought can come. So just don't ruminate or don't start thinking about it. Anyway, I'll stop there, but it's a very inspiring topic. Thank you.
Thank you very much for sharing your insights. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. 10 more minutes for our next session. Okay, Mr. Panjacharam Master from Sydney, Australia.
Wow, this is truly international.
Good
Thank
morning.
you. Good morning to
Good
you.
morning, Australia. Good evening. And Amisha, you have done a very, very important section you have discussed today. This is very, very important to our meditation and the achievement of this. When someone is small age, like 7 years, 8 years, the hormone developing and their mind actions changes. Then when they grow up and all, then bad environment like giving up more meat, food or liquor or bad effect also giving. Then the environment means the front house always some fights going on and next door were coming and telling some bad things or also affect your emotion. So we were, our aim may be different and now afterwards we may change to different attitude. And all this goes to the mind and it gets stuck inside. So whenever we do good things, that comes and disturbing the mind. So these are matters, I don't know whether it is, we can control, there are doctors, they have said they can control, but I don't know whether we can control fully. But what I want to know is this emotion, can you handle with a bad environment?
Yes. Yes.
You can handle it. Yeah.
Yes.
How you can by explaining, you have to explain and handle. Or what do you mean?
So if your environment is bad, I mean, again, look at it physically, right? If your environment is bad, let's take the pandemic as an example, where there is a virus was spreading, the environment was bad.
It goes to the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
Then you won't know whether it is in the subconscious mind. But when you are needed, that comes and affect you. So when we started meditation, we think we are not, we are concentrating on this breathing, but something else also coming and disturbing the mind.
Yeah. So again, external environment, your mind is the soil, right? And the thoughts or the external influences are the seeds that are going in that soil. If the soil is fertile and healthy, then those seeds will if it's a bad seed, it will not grow. But if the soil is only bad, your unconscious mind is got too much of a clutter with all of the previous experiences in life, then anything good also from the environment will not go through. So we have to work on the unconscious first, or the subconscious first, which is a collection of all our emotional experiences in our life. And only then can the environment start helping you, or not helping, or you ignore it, or you seek help from the environment, whichever way.
Anyway, the answer given by the answer given by the rishis and Thuravigal, they say you pray God, you surrender to the God, you will get rid of all these emotions and all sort of problems.
Yeah.
That
So
was
surrendering to the God also has a human side.
There's
right?
a solution already given. Yeah.
Surrendering is also a human side, right? There is two ways to it.
Thank you.
We cannot surrender and not take the action. A lot of times, and I've done it enough times in my life, we cannot just say, oh, I'm leaving it to God, and then God is going to suddenly send that, miracle in my life. It doesn't work like that. Not always. A lot of times we have to initiate the effort. So we have to have that clarity on what is required and be able to take that action.
Thank you.
Dr. Navratnam,
Yeah, Dr.
you raised your
Navratnam.
hand for a while.
Yes. Thank you, Anisha. It's a very difficult topic, and we have tackled it in a way to make it understandable. And the translation was very helpful. I have one question. The thing is, I believe in, I'm a medical doctor, as you know, I'm a specialist. I believe in genes, and when we are born, our character and ability, all that is determined by genes. And I remember when I was very young, I was considered very clever. And my older brother was not considered that clever. So during his development, obviously he would have suffered something emotionally. And my success throughout my life was probably fueled by my genes and also the environment which appreciated me. What is your opinion? Before I ask your opinion, you said the name of a book. I would like to buy and read it. Soon I people say, author.
Yes. Yes.
And
So it's called NLP at Work.
At work. Okay. I'll look for it. Okay. Yeah, please answer my question about genes and effects. Please.
Well, I think all of us who have siblings would know, right, that our brothers and sisters are different from us. I'm assuming everybody here has siblings. I have 2 elder sisters. All 3 of us different. Both of them got married at an early age, had children, settled down, and I was a complete opposite. I went and had a career in a hotel environment, which was completely unusual for I come from a Gujarati family. And no girl had ever worked, forget working in a hotel company, no girl had ever worked in our family. But then after my dad passed away, I had no choice. And I grabbed the first job that I got, and I took it. And so point is that influences are not, genetic, yes. My sisters and I were brought up in the same way by my parents. And we had the same, if I may use the word restrictions, we were allowed or disallowed the same things as girls. And but then from their perspective, their life experience and circumstances were different. Mine was different. So one has to respond to those circumstances. So genes cannot always be responsible for it. We have
So
to,
what I noticed, Madam, I agree with what you say. My older brother, later in his life, I appreciated this was clever. But when he was young, he was put down, and in school also he didn't do well. And his development was, I think, scuttled by the environment and possibly the genes. What do you think?
No, I don't think the genes are always responsible for that. I personally think it's more of the conditioning. And again, I always bring it down to base or core emotions that a person experiences. So if as a young child he has been put down, even if he has capabilities in different ways, everybody must have seen that movie Tare Zameen Par, Amir Khan movie about dyslexia. I think everyone should see it, right? Just as an example. So everybody has certain talents, everybody has qualities, everybody has a way that they can excel. But with our social conditioning, with our educational system being the way it is, a lot of times those talents are overlooked and people are not recognized. And then all of a sudden the individual starts thinking that they are a misfit, right?
Thank you. And do you think by practicing your method of emotional balancing, people can overcome that?
There are two things, right? Again, as you're a doctor, I'll use that example. When we get an infection, we have to treat the infection with an antibiotic, but we have to also use the paracetamol to control the fever, right? So what I've given you is a small taste of the paracetamol way, but the true infection, which is sitting there in your system, needs to be dealt with as well. So you have to use both. We need to work on what is it that is sitting in the root, it's sitting in the unconscious mind that needs to be cleared out of there. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for
very
asking.
much.
Thank you for.
Thank you. Now, Dr.Satha Mano will read the chat box, please. Thank you.
Greetings to all. Anyway, Jnana Yogaraja Master, excellent speech. Amisha Master, sad experience, unable to lead a happy life, as you mentioned, especially emotionally affected in young age. Gratian James Master, thank you very much for your excellent speech. Parimala Nagendran Master, very useful speech. Thank you, Amisha Master. Maran Nandan Master, Amisha, you are a talented presenter. Amisha say, thank you very much. And the book name NLP at Work by Sue Knight. Punitavati Master, excellent presentation, very useful information. Thank you, Amisha. Very good Tamil translation, Maran Master. Thank you. Ganesh Vinayak Master. Twins born in a family grow in the same environment, how their personalities are different.
Yeah, is that a question? I think with twins,
Yeah,
it's more like they
that's a question.
Yeah, because they're all complementary, right? If you see this scientific thing is that one cell split into two parts. So it's like you can say it's the yin and the yang, or the black and the white, or whatever we compare, right? So it's like one thing that's split into two. So it's balanced out in that way. That's why they're different. Yeah. Any other questions? Because I know I've taken a lot more time than I thought I would, but I've enjoyed the session thoroughly, and it's always a pleasure to meet people from all over the world, because I know we all want the same thing at the end of the day. Like Sri Nagesh said, we all have the same purpose in life, which is to be amazing human beings.
Now, Maran Nandan, you want to say anything? Maran?
Yes, Amisha. What a wonderful speech. It's really great. We learn a lot of things, and especially as a presenter, you have expressed very well. And I was very impressed with the last analogy you gave, especially the paracetamol and the Panadol and the wound. So both are interrelated. So that encapsulates everything, whatever you said. That example actually has summarized what you wanted to say. Thank you very much. You must come again and again to talk about it more.
It would be a delight. It would be a delight. I appreciate you inviting me and staying on for this long.
Thank you.
I just carried on without your permission, but thank you for letting me share the platform with all of you.
Thank you very much, Amisha, and thank you very much, Maran Nandan, for your excellent summarizing Amisha's thought. You are given us a taste, Amisha, so we need to know more about it, because we are a meditator. We are getting all these emotions and everything. It is going through while you meditate. It's automatically we can get through out of this emotion. But we would like to know more about, because you have just given us a taste only, I think.
Yes.
So we should know more about that, your techniques and what you are using. And you said about this book, NLP at Work, Sue Knight. So I will also get that book and read it and see anything.
Yes.
When we start meditating, we want to know what are the other things are going on with the other. So that's what, anyway, thank you so much. It's an excellent speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sri Nagesh Nalam. So do you want to say anything? Because we are going to the next session, There is
quickly. So just I wanted to add one point. somebody touched on that thought and thinking, and actually it goes from thought, thinking. The next step is intent. Unless we have that intent, the action will not start. So that's where the sankalpa, in our tradition, in all our cultural activities, we do that sankalpa. That is where the action starts at our individual level. So yes, I wanted to say that one. And root of everything is our spiritual, what we wanted to do, the purpose, what we decide before we coming out to the earth. That's how everything starts percolating down. So maybe that's a big subject. Later we can discuss.
It is a very big subject, but I love talking about it. So I'll be more than happy to discuss it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Amisha, for joining there. Thank you.
Thanks very much,
Thank
sir. And
Yes,
Sachi's want to ask anything from Wales? Sachi?
One quick question. You mentioned that paracetamol is like NLP. What is antibiotic like?
No, antibiotic is the higher, the deep level NLP. What I gave you today is the paracetamol. Now the rest of it is the deep level.
Okay. Thank you so much, Amisha.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you. God
Thank
bless
you very much.
Dr. Satha, you want to say anything?
Yeah, can I just anyway add some aspect briefly? You know, when many people were discussing about children from the belonging to the same families, either growing differently, not achieving or achieving, and all these things. But even though 0 to 7, you were saying about these foundation ages, one of the explanation I want to share is what actually happened is one child is born and the second one is born in a gap of 1 year or 2 years. During that time, whatever the emotion the parents are going through could be different. So the child is going to be affected in different way. So that is also another main aspect why one child is different from the other one, because they were not exposed to exactly same. So that is a very big aspect to how one child is different from another one. And they may not, they are young, they may not be able to share with the siblings during that time. They would have experience. Yeah, that is it's an interesting, real big topic. Thank you.
It is.
Thanks.
And NLP brings, how do you actually communicate all of this? How do you simplify it? So that is where the linguistics part come in. And I would love to come back and share a little more, because linguistics is so fascinating. And actually the fundamentals will apply to any language. It's not about English. It's like